That's entertainment. Street performer to Las Vegas star, part 3.
If you take the in terms of most of us, 5.6 million of us in the UK, I would reckon something like 5.5 million of us are not the go-getting David Copperfield, totally obsessed. Money is everything, wealth is everything. That you'd pay $5,000 to hear somebody who is a David Copperfield speak to you. Most of us just want a happy life and, like you, a brilliantly creative life, and you want to do the best you can, and you've visualized all these kind of things. What would be your advice in terms of, because you've had your dark moments, like we've all had our dark moments, in terms of actually blending your career, rather than people say you should keep my business totally separate from my life. And I don't know how you do that really in practice, but how would you say that some advice to people, some creative people like you, people that are really keen on having a creative career, what would you say to them, some advice about how to blend your life so that you do actually get that happiness out of it? Because you mentioned about you've just started the painting. One of the things that inspired me as we were finishing The Happipreneur was a picture of David Hockney in the south of France, actually saying, "I love every minute of every day." And you could see it in his face, 82 or whatever. He's doing exactly what he loves. He's painting away. Well, actually, he uses the iPad a lot, doesn't he? But he does some sketches first, and then he uses that. And he loves what he's doing in his garden, various things in South France. So how do you actually give some advice to us all on how you can blend this, driven? Let me use the word, because you are ambitious. You want to fulfill your dream, but you balance it into creating the happiest life you can do.
Well, if being happy was a business. If your own happiness was a business, if you were working for your boss that said, well, how are you creating your happiness today? And you had to come up with strategies.
Yes.
If you're a very business-like person, you might want to think of it like that. Every morning I get up, like everybody else does, and I have some coffee. And then I've got a manifestation notebook. Right. And I write the story of what I want to be. So for at the moment, I'm writing, I am a fantastic artist. Now, bear in mind, I've only done 2 pictures and I've only just bought the course and a lot of paint. Right?
It's a good starting place.
Right, but you have to start somewhere. And this is where I'm saying I am a fantastic artist and I have a very happy life full of lots of fun and laughter and friends and walks and dogs. And then I write down the words. I write down what I want my life to be, the feeling words. So I write down fun, easy, laughter, friends, fun, funny, exciting. And I might fill a page with that. And I said that I'm putting those as my goals. I'm not really attached to how that happens. Now, if someone came along and said, you're going to go into a train spotting, I've just thought of train spotting for some reason, but you're going to go into a cake making business, which I'm not very fond of. But that would be fun and easy and friends and laughter. I'd be like, oh, I didn't see that coming, but that sounds good.
Okay.
So, and they're my criteria. If you come to me with a suggestion, I will put it through my criteria. If it's not fun and easy, I ain't doing it. You might say this will bring you £50,000, but if it's not fun and easy, I'm still not doing it.
Okay.
It's like fascist criteria. It's got to be fun, easy. It's got to be good for everybody. It's got to benefit everyone. It's got to have friends. You've done this the same, Tony. Yeah, You've only worked with fun and funny people. And I love that in Tony's books. He says that he hires people on, isn't it, if they make him laugh. And the same thing, laughter. I wrote this in my blog yesterday. My biggest ambition in life now is to have lots of laughter.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
Right. So you've got to know what your goal in any business. You've got to know what your goals are, whether it's to earn £1 million or to do whatever. Once you've got your goals, then you're clever enough to work it out. But you've got to have your goals and And I love the phrase. My personal motto is, I can and I will, watch me. Right. So a couple of people, my mother-in-law, for example, when I said I'm going to spin the book to 1 million people, they're like, oh, that's too big a number. That's impossible. I'm like,
watch me.
I can and I will, watch me. And I'm going to do it with fun and laughter and great glee. And I'm going to show you that this can be done.
Yeah. It's interesting you've said that, because I was doing an interview earlier, and we were talking about the ancient Greeks and Stoic philosophy, for example. And people think of, these things, there must be, sort of boring and really hard things. But their whole lives were actually based on happiness.
Right.
They were actually doing this philosophy stuff to work out ways of being happy. And that's why the first thing of being a happypreneur is do what you love and you're good at, because if you're no good at something, then that's unlikely to make you happy. Yeah. And if you're doing something you don't love, you will never stick with it enough to do.
But also,
but the laughter thing, that's the thing. We should remember this, I think, don't you? We should be saying to everybody, so let's have a few laughs.
And you got to look for it, because it doesn't come easily. So I had a fantastic day on Monday laughing because I took my friend to the Lake District. I'm rubbish at reading maps, and we ended up in the car park after an hour. Again, we didn't mean to end up in the car, but we were meant to be up a mountain, and it was just hilarious. So you have to do that. But one thing I was going to say, that's right. So I historically have never been particularly good at things. So, for example, I wasn't good at magic to begin with. And now that I'm starting art, I've never done art in my life. But that doesn't mean to say that gives me an advantage, because I can do it in my way that won't be like any other way. So my magic act isn't like anyone else's magic act, because I couldn't do what they were doing because it was really difficult. So I had to invent what I could do. Yeah. Same with art. I can't draw a cat or a horse, but I've found that I can draw these fantastical creatures. We're not quite sure what they are, but it doesn't matter. And everyone's like, oh, they're good. I'm like, what?
Oh, so, that's great.
Yeah. So if you're not good at something, don't let that stop you.
No,
do
absolutely.
It your way, which will be like nobody else.
Yeah. I suppose that's it. You can create your own good, can't you? I mean, absolutely. It doesn't have to be anybody else's vision of good. It's not comparative. It's like, one of the things we say about Microbizmatis Day, we created it so that people would just, for one day at least in the year, they just give a little bit of time to help each other, and over 1 million people will be doing that as a result of this day we've created. But we're not measuring it. We don't ask for contact details. We don't, we're just actually saying, you decide what is good advice and good help and various things. Not up to us, and that's, I think it's really important that, going back to Dickens again, he called it fancy, of course,
exactly, same thing.
It's exactly the same thing. Yeah.
But also, Tony, I've just had another idea, because I had a magic mentor who did help me a lot, not really in magic, but in life. And he said, Romany, he said, people support what they help create. Now, this is a really
profound.
Right?
Yeah.
But it really works. So, for example, if I spoke to all of you now and said, I'd really love your help helping me to become a speaker. If you've got any tips, or maybe you've got an agent, or so, and then you will be then invested in my journey. And same as when I've helped people, I watch them, and then once they've got better, I'm like, I can now get you some work and things. So ask for help, because most people love helping people. Most people love telling people their wisdom.
Absolutely.
But what that happens is, then they will help you continue, and it's a really lovely organic thing. So that's another tip.
Oh, that's lovely. Well, I think that people talk about collaboration in a formal sense, but you and I and most of us are actually quite messy in terms of little contacts and various things. So it's not about actually setting up these like really formal ways of collaboration, things like that. It's just you help somebody else, and maybe a year's time they'll actually say, I was thinking about you, Romany, and that's the way it goes, isn't it? It's like this wonderful creativity of collaboration that happens naturally. I love that. It's absolutely great. Well, we're actually, are you doing all right? Have you managed? I know it's a marathon with me.
I was thinking of you this morning running your marathons. I was just walking, and I broke into a jog, and I thought of you doing your marathon, and then I stopped.
Fantastic. Well, I like to finish off with a couple of things, and I haven't discussed with you, which will be, I'm sure, one of the things in your speeches. So actually go to it, because I'm sure you will talk about some of the things that you've overcome, or maybe never will overcome, but you learn to live with, and things like that. But I'd like to finish with, I've got a prop here myself. I don't very rarely use these, but seeing I've got somebody from the entertainment world in. I've got this is Bertie Bad Habit, and this is. I'm not going to do any magic or anything. That must be really annoying for magicians if I mix it too magic. And I'm not going to do any entertainment with them, but I am going to ask you a question. This is Gertie, Good Habit, and Bertie Bad Habit. And they are habits. They're not rabbits or hares, they're habits. And I'm going to ask you to come up with one bad habit of yours that probably many people will share that you're going to get rid of.
Okay.
So there goes Bertie. And then after that, perhaps give us one good habit that you're going to really concentrate on in 2021 to make it a great year and for everybody else.
Yeah. So my bad habit is getting distracted. I've got to do something, and then by the end of the day, I've done a billion other things, and I haven't done that one thing. So it was Marie Forleo, who's a great entrepreneur in the States, and Marie Forleo. I've done her B score, and she's great. So she recommended, and it does work. You get one piece of paper. She calls it a onesie. You can call it whatever you like. And you basically write down what it is. Like today is the go fund it for I put down rescue dog, right?
Lovely.
And I could write it everywhere. And I need to have it on my brain. And so you go, I'm only allowed to do that. So every time you go to click on Facebook or go to, I don't know, cook your dinner, or you can cook your dinner, I suppose, but you're only allowed to do that. So that's really helpful.
Yeah, lovely. So that's the kind of getting distracted all over the place, and by doing this thing, that's the bad habit of distraction out of the way. Great, good habit then.
The good habit, which I is to really decide what's going to make you happy in 2020. Now, it could be getting fit, it could be getting your business, it could be talking to your child more. I don't know what it is, but really find out what it is you think is going to make you the happiest. And then, you might want to embellish this, like, why is this going to make you happy? Because it's going to be fun, it's going to be exciting, it's going to be fulfilling. Find out your words as to why you want that to be your focus. And then every day, what one action are you going to take towards that? Right. Because otherwise it would just remain a fancy.
So one action a day towards that. Fantastic. Yeah. That's a great good idea.
And who are you going to commit to telling? So I've committed to doing a blog about it. It's like, how are you going to be? You've got to be accountable. Accountable is really important. So maybe you need a buddy system, or maybe you're good at it anyway. But if you're not good at it, you need a buddy system. You need a blog. You need something that you have to do it.
Oh, fantastic.
If you don't do it, maybe you have to put £10 in the charity box.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's a little penalty for not carrying on your good habit. I do like the thing that maybe we're similar in this respect, that it's all about focus, if you like, on either getting rid of the bad habit, distraction, or in terms of the good habit, it's actually about focusing one step, one thing. That's brilliant. Love it.
I mean, my brain goes like this. This is my brain.
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic. Great. Well, lovely. So thank you very much for being our star guest. So
Yay. I'm going to do some marketing. Look, this is
Spun
into
into
gold.
gold.
Plus
Spun into
cover,
gold.
you'd have to buy extra.
My favourite, and without doubt, my favourite non-fiction book of 2020 was Spun into Gold by Romany, and it is wonderful.
And it's available.
Everybody to
I'm going to be business people. It's available in the UK on my website.
And remember, what I did was I listened to you, and it was my top audiobook of the whole year. So I loved it. It's a brilliant performance. It's really, really good. So
it took a year. I had to edit it all myself, all the breaths out. But it's available on my website, romanymagic.com. And you can see me doing magic on there as well, or all other Audible, Amazon, everything else.
Fabulous. Thank you ever so much for joining us. It's been a real delight. At last we've met, and I'm going to end the broadcast, but maybe we can just stay online after. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Thank you ever so much. Thank you,
everybody. Thank you.
Friday, the 8th of January, 2021. Follow the hashtag MicroBizMatters.